Good evening and welcome to FYI. 2 crore vaccines were administered across India today. A record when it comes to giving the jabs, a record when it comes to the jabs administered, an unprecedented record so far. 2 crores and still counting. We still have maybe an hour left for the day to end, and this, the government claims, is a birthday gift for Prime Minister Modi, who turned 71 today. And the BJP ruled states in particular pulled out all the stops to reach this milestone, to mark this achievement as the government races to deliver a vaccination record on Prime Minister Modi's birthday today. A record which is 2.5 crore jabs a day. 2.47 crore, remember, is the number to beat. China crossed that mark on the 24th of July. That is the highest daily vaccine rate by any country so far. So India here looking really to set a world record on Prime Minister Modi's 71st birthday. And that's not all. The government was well prepared for this. They planned ahead for this. They added a ticker to track the COVID shots across India, and we've been seeing that playing out all day. This vaccination campaign is key to the BJP's 3-week celebrations to mark Prime Minister Modi's 71st birthday. To achieve its target, the BJP prepped its health volunteers to ensure that the maximum number of people get their COVID-19 vaccines on this day, Prime Minister Modi's birthday. So India clocked at one point over 42,000 vaccinations a minute. That's what a senior health official said to NDTV. And the big question is, why is this grand mega push? Why has it been saved only for Prime Minister Modi's birthday? Could India not do this more often and do this again going forward? Let's first go across to Meher, my colleague who's on the ground, who's been monitoring these fast-moving numbers. Meher, we're looking at that screen and we see those numbers changing so rapidly. I mean, how did this happen? This has been something India's been struggling to achieve for months, because we've been having such a horrific time in the second wave, etc., just trying to keep our vaccinations match up to the number of COVID cases on the rise. So where does the drive for this come from? Is it the BJP states that are really pushing this?
Yes, Sarah. So it is actually BJP states right now driving this massive record-breaking day. All the top 5 states are actually BJP states that have done the most number of vaccinations today. The unofficial aim is a massive 2.5 crore doses, and that looks really achievable right now because we are already past 2 crore. Well past it, 2.16 last time I checked, but as you said, the numbers are moving really fast. So it is driven by the BJP ruled states to celebrate the Prime Minister's birthday. And all of the states right now driving the vaccination drive, if we look at their rate of vaccination for the past 4 days, they have all slowed down the pace of vaccination then to kind of build up for today. Karnataka has done 21 lakh doses up until 5 p.m. and this is a massive 19 times of their average vaccination rate for the past 4 days. So this is the state with the most indication of a slowdown in the lead up to this record-breaking day. Then there is Bihar. They've also done 21 lakh doses up until 5 p.m. and their slowdown, they did, the rate today is already 5.5 times the rate from the past 4 days. Gujarat has done 15 lakh doses and this is 5.3 times the rate in the past 4 days. Madhya Pradesh has done 18 lakh doses and this is 3.6 times the rate in the last 4 days. UP comes next with 18 lakh doses and this is twice the rate of vaccination in the past 4 days. So every single state that is right now driving the vaccination drive, they are all BJP ruled states and all have shown have slowed down vaccination in the lead up to this day. So that raises serious questions on whether this is sustainable. So far, the average vaccination rate, it has increased significantly, but it's still around 70 to 80 lakh doses a day. So if we if we reach the unofficial target of 2.5, this is more than double what has been the average rate so far. So that raises questions of whether there has been a slowdown, if there's going to be compromise on vaccination in the coming few days, if there's going to be a slowdown later on as well. to meet this massive target that they've set to celebrate the Prime Minister's birthday.
Of course, Meher, and the biggest question, why could this not have been done earlier, and why only on Prime Minister Modi's birthday, if clearly it is possible, it was possible to pull this off. Thanks Meher for that. So let's go across first to Dr. Chandra Kumar Bose, epidemiologist, health systems specialist. Dr. Laheria, your response as you watch this amazing milestone that India reaches, perhaps even overtaking China. We will maybe by the end of the day, hopefully overtake China when it comes to administering the largest number of vaccines a day. But this is something doctors like you have been crying yourself hoarse about over the past few months, saying increase the rate of vaccines. We are not doing enough. We're not doing as much as we could have. We're not doing enough as we are able to, as our systems could allow. Your reaction when you hear that we are finally reaching those big numbers today?
So I think what is happening, the kind of number which India is going to achieve today is definitely a very welcome sign. Welcome sign from the health system perspective, that whenever health systems or health services will be challenged to do or something, they can live up to those expectations. So I really think that this is the potential which India's immunization service delivery indicate. Having said that, we also know that if we want to sustain target like 2 crore or 2.5 crore a day, which essentially means we need something like 6 crore, 75 crore doses, not sufficient to something like 80 lakh doses a day, and that's realistic. I have no problem with this kind of single day spikes, but we also need to ensure that when people turn up for the vaccination on the subsequent day or following day, they should be able to get the vaccine. Other thing which is really important, that this shows that we have some of the vaccines which states were stockpiling and they were not using probably till now. So that should not be the approach. And third thing is that I believe that India need to step up or accelerate the vaccination drive, because currently we have a population which is demanding vaccine. There are a lot of demand for vaccines, and we should not disappoint those people who really want the vaccine. Otherwise, what would happen if when people are demanding vaccine, if they are not offered, then they might not turn up when vaccines would actually become available. So it's a good idea to utilize all the vaccines which are available, and we have a fairly consistent vaccine pipeline, not to the extent we can do 2 crore a day, but definitely 80 lakh to 1 crore shots a day is possible, and this would nudge the system. So I think great, India is doing good job, and I think this is vaccination is one area, but in other areas also there is a lot much potential which India can explore. Why only for vaccination? And all other health intervention and health initiatives should also be explore potential in those areas as well.
Absolutely. We are in complete agreement with you. This is a day of celebration for India. It is a day to celebrate all our healthcare workers. Doctors like you have been pointing out that we have done this for years with our pulse polio program. Why could we not reach the extent, the borders of our country into all of the villages and administer the vaccines the same way as we have for our pulse polio programs? Thanks, Dr. Chandrakant. We also have Dr. Sanjay Agarwal, Medical Director, Chief of Surgery and HOD of the Orthopedics at the Mumbai-based PD, Hinduja National and MRC. Dr. Agarwala joining us. Thank you, Dr. Agarwala. Your reaction, I don't know if you heard Dr. Chandrakant, he was pointing out, some of the inadequacies. For example, we'd seen in Maharashtra, the state which at one point was throwing out the largest number of COVID cases. Now, of course, that's Kerala. But both Kerala and Maharashtra have seen their vaccine drive having to pause, take weekend breaks, slow down, because there just wasn't enough supply of vaccines. Today, as our reporter on the ground is reporting, that certain states are seeing no problem with vaccine supply. Your reaction today as we celebrate the fact that India has shown that we can administer over 2 crore and over vaccines in a day. It is possible if there is the drive behind it.
So I think it just shows how capable we are when we put our hearts and minds to it. And I think we need to congratulate every single person, including the press,
I don't need doctors
for advocating the need for vaccination. Clearly something that is amiss in many countries, including the United States. But every country which has done vaccination successfully is reaping the benefits. We've seen it in polio, we've seen it in chickenpox, we've seen it in smallpox. So I think there is no controversy about it. Clearly, it's a huge task considering the world population of 7.8 billion people. I mean, India is a fraction of that. And that we can achieve, we can hype up our requirements and needs and show that it can be done is an outstanding feat. Every single person must get vaccinated. When the need comes for a booster, take the booster so that you can prevent yourself from falling ill.
All right, so I think the key words from both our doctors there is that it shows that this can be done. India has shown its prowess, India has shown its potential if there is the drive and the intention. I just want to read out a tweet by the none other than the health minister. He says on Prime Minister Modi ji's birthday till 1:30 p.m. the country crossed the mark of 1 crore vaccines, the fastest so far, and we are continuously moving forward. I believe that today we will all make a new record of the vaccinations and give it as a gift to the Prime Minister. The Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia tweeted again with the hashtag Vaccine Seva, happy birthday Modi ji. Dr. Agarwala, you know, I think it would make us all wish that perhaps we could just celebrate Prime Minister Modi's birthday every day, if that is what it's going to take for our administration to actually get out there and do what needed to have been done, you know, perhaps
the last part that you talked about is the marketing. Fair enough. I have no qualms and no issues with that. But the fact that we can achieve, I mean, we are a large country, a huge country, and that we could achieve, I think we need to congratulate ourselves that it is possible, and the people are all one in trying to achieve this zero COVID rate, which is what we have to look at in the future. There will be other diseases which we will also have to overcome similarly. But let's get on with the job and congratulate everyone who's helped do it.
Dr. Chandrakant Leheria, what happens next now? We've proven that we can administer vaccines. Do we now need to ensure we have a supply of vaccines in order to be able to administer them?
I think India is neither aiming to do 2 crore vaccination a day, and not those are possible, because as I said earlier, if we want to achieve a 2 crore average, then we require 60 crore shots in a month. And what we know that the vaccine supply is likely to be something like 25 crore to 30 crore a month, which essentially translates to 80 lakh to 1 crore shots a day. But to me, even that will be a good target, because ultimately what we need to remember that vaccination is not the only intervention which helps staff in delivering. They are involved in many other activities. But I would like to take a much broader lessons from it, and that lesson is that India's vaccination program or other health programs are underperforming or performing far below their potential, and this again shows that much of the May, June, July we were not delivering what we could have delivered, and now we had a 4 or 5 months of robust planning to deliver vaccination program, and now we deliver 2 crore, 2.5 crore a shot a day, and that's a bigger lesson for that. We need to invest in our health services. If government is willing and desired, it can actually deliver far more health services in all the areas, maternal and child health, treatment services, primary healthcare services, all the areas. All it requires a commitment from the government, and today government shown the commitment, and we could achieve one target in one particular intervention. If similar commitment, many of those were made in National Health Policy of India in 2017, are followed through by the top level political leadership, both at national level. And today we need to remember that immunization program is going to achieve this. COVID-19 vaccination program is going to achieve, because state governments are also showing ownership. So I would say and urge that we need to derive much broader lessons, that both central leadership and the state government need to show a leadership in strengthening health services in all areas, and that will benefit this country far more. That will benefit citizens of this country, especially in the COVID-19 times. So soon we will achieve a fairly good coverage in vaccination drive. Then our challenge would be that non-COVID essential health services are scaled up. Government health services are strengthened up. All the promises which have been made and which are need to be taken up, and I see this beyond, but assuring that government, when it shows commitment, it achieves that.
Absolutely, Doctor. I think very well said. In a week where we've seen horrific pictures coming out of young children dying in hospitals in UP, in other states, to a mysterious virus, and we see visuals like this come up every year repeatedly, unfailingly, of children dying to so-called mysterious viruses, whether it's encephalitis, whether it's dengue, whether it's swine flu. Why can't India tackle them? As Dr. Chandrakant Leharia says, if we could do it today on Prime Minister Modi's birthday, we have proven that we can do it. We just need the incentive, we need the drive, we need someone to focus on the problem and making sure it can be fixed. Let's take a short break. Come back. More on this on the other side. Welcome back to FYI on a day when India has crossed the 2 crore milestone when it comes to administering vaccines. All of this on Prime Minister Modi's birthday, where his home state Gujarat crossed 5 lakh doses, more than the daily doses they've ever administered in the last 7 days. Bihar by the afternoon had given COVID shots to 7.3 lakh people, 3 times more than the average that they've given over the last 3 days. Staying with other BJP states, Madhya Pradesh was at more than 5 lakh doses, 75% more than its last 2 days average. Karnataka at one point of time, the highest single day vaccination figure has been 12 lakhs, an ambitious target in Karnataka to mark the Prime Minister's birthday. They have been planning to double that figure to 34 lakhs, and they say that they've been trying to double that figure, and 34 lakh doses were sent to the districts to help meet this day's target of about 25 to 30 lakh vaccinations. The Karnataka Health Minister spoke to my colleague Maya Sharma and said that though vaccines are a state subject, the centre or the PM was magnanimous to see that vaccines were given to all the states from the centre. Remember, this comes at a time where certain states like Kerala, for example, which have been reporting consistently the highest number of COVID cases over the last few months and also the highest number of vaccinations, have been constantly requesting the centre to give them, to increase the supply of vaccines to the state. Maharashtra has complained of a shortage of vaccines, another state that has been reporting a very high number of COVID cases over the last few months. And the question, of course, is, are we playing politics with our vaccinations? The BJP states have been pushing ahead with the largest number of vaccines today, and the RJD has now alleged that the Bihar government has deliberately been reducing the pace of vaccines. Actually, let's go across to Mr. Akhtarul Shaheen. He's the MLA and spokesperson of the RJD. Mr. Shaheen, Bihar government ने एक टारगेट सेट की थी आज कि they would vaccinate at least 30 lakh people on Prime Minister Modi's birthday on Friday. Big congratulations कि बिहार ये कर पाई.
नहीं, बधाई तो निश्चित रूप से बधाई देना चाहिए उन पदाधिकारियों को, जिन पदाधिकारियों ने इतने बड़े पैमाने पर मेगा कैंप जो सरकार ने तय किया उसको उस चैलेंज को उसने कंप्लीट किया. इसका मतलब यह साबित होता है कि बिहार में जो भी मेडिकल स्टाफ हैं, मेडिकल अफसर्स हैं, वो कैपेबल हैं कि वह बड़े पैमाने पर मेगा वैक्सीनेशन चला सकते हैं और वो कामयाब हो सकते हैं. फिर भी बिहार आज सबके पीछे और बहुत पीछे रह गया. इसका मतलब यह है कि जो गवर्नमेंट है उसने उस तरह का मेगा कैंप नहीं लगाया या बड़े पैमाने पर वैक्सीनेशन का काम नहीं किया, वरना हमारे बिहार के मेडिकल स्टाफ सक्षम थे कि एक दिन में 20-20 लाख 30 लाख लोगों को हम लगा सकते थे. तो ये एक व्यक्ति को खुश करने के लिए इतना बड़ा कैंप लगाते हैं और बड़े पैमाने पर वैक्सीनेशन देते हैं, लेकिन लगातार बिहार में जितने भी सेंटर है वहां पर वैक्सीनेशन अवेलेबल नहीं रहा. लंबे समय तक 3 महीने तक लोग जा रहे हैं, वापस आ रहे हैं तमाम सेंटरों से, वैक्सीन नहीं है, वैक्सीन नहीं है, वैक्सीन नहीं है. तो ये बात है. देखिए, असल बात क्या है, अंदर की बात क्या है कि बिहार में जदयू भाजपा की आपस में कुछ लड़ाई भी चलती है और लोग एक दूसरे को छोटा दिखाने के लिए भी इस तरह का काम करते हैं. प्रधानमंत्री का, जहां बीजेपी के लोग प्रधानमंत्री की तारीफ में लगे रहते हैं, जदयू के लोग कहते हैं कि नीतीश कुमार प्रधानमंत्री के मतलब कैंडिडेट कह दीजिए, या फिर कह सकते हैं कि वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर मटेरियल है, पीएम मटेरियल है. इस तरह करके वो लोग एक दूसरे का कंपटीशन करते रहते हैं, एक दूसरे मुड़ा कुश्ती करते रहते हैं। लेकिन बिहार में लगातार कैंप की आवश्यकता थी, न केवल जन्मदिन के अवसर पे बल्कि तमाम अवसरों पर बड़े पैमाने पे कैंप लगा करके आज भी हम 50% से ज्यादा नहीं कर पाए हैं। आज भी देश में हम 10 मतलब पिछड़े राज्यों में से हैं वैक्सीनेशन में, उस बड़ी संख्या में वैक्सीनेशन का काम नहीं हो सका है बिहार में। आधी आबादी अभी भी वैक्सीनेट नहीं हो सकी है, तो काफी चिंता की बात है।
All right. So the RJD, Mr. Bose, we have Chandra Kumar Bose, former Vice President, Senior Leader of the BJP from West Bengal. Mr. Bose, I don't know if you heard RJD spokesperson, Mr. Shaheen, वो तो कह रहे हैं कि he says that the Bihar government, BJP governments on the ground have been slowing down the rate of vaccinations administered over the last few days, so that today's vaccine rates can be, you can have record rates today. Your response, sir?
Well, I think that is his view, but I think...
no, sir, not just his view. That's also what the data has shown. We've just given you the data of many BJP ruled states, including Karnataka, that have shown today's rates are much higher than the rates of the past 3-4 days.
Well, you see, the NDA government under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji has made efforts right from the start for this vaccination drive. And I think it is not, on a particular day or, it's not an event. This is a process. It is an ongoing process, which is, the government is very serious about it. Now, certain ups and downs might take place in the figures. That is, maybe we need to really see the ground reality, what has happened. But it is not that the government would like the figures to rise on a particular day and other days they would like to slow down. I think that is not the right approach that is being taken by the central government.
But was the pace held up in order to reach this milestone today? I think that's the question, because of course you say the government has been preparing for months. Questions have been asked about whether we've been vaccinating at a we should have been vaccinating at a better pace, whether we should have placed orders way back in time. Let's go across to Tehseen. We're completely out of time, Tehseen. We were trying to get you on earlier, but I want to just give you a quick word on today's big milestone.
At the onset, let me wish the Honorable Prime Minister a very happy birthday. And while it's happy that, I'm very glad that we've had so many vaccinations today, what really worries me is the NDTV data that shows how vaccination has slowed down. And I'm witness to this because a lot of people that I know for the last few days were absolutely not getting any government vaccines in any of the government hospitals. Vaccines were held up for this record to be created. I think that is not what was expected. We should not become a nation of creating one-day records. Our aim is to beat the third wave and get our citizens vaccinated as soon as possible. So I hope we don't fall into this.
All right, and I want to just end by saying, checking with our BJP spokesperson joining us from West Bengal. What next, sir? Now that we have proved that India can reach such numbers every day, should we be seeing more of this, and should this government be held accountable if we can't reach such numbers again, reach such targets again? And if so, will that be because we do not have enough vaccines?
This should be a concerted effort. The central government is committed to the cause of vaccination, but I think the politics should stop about vaccination. I think efforts should be made by the central government along with the state governments to ensure that we have a complete overdrive as far as vaccination is concerned, so that we can reach vaccines to each and every citizen of our country within a stipulated time frame.
I think we can all be in agreement, Mr. Chandra Kumar Bose, that the politicization of our vaccination program should end. Thank you all for joining us on FYI tonight. Bye-bye.